Welcome to the last day of Create Your Flow. Oh, so excited for you guys. Seriously, you just created a huge entire mobility flow based on what is restricted for your own individual body, and hopefully you learned a lot, because that is my whole intention, for you to learn, gain awareness, and be able to take this into your life. So I'm so excited, because obviously it's not just about the prizes, right? But it's what you're opening up and you're rewarding to yourself, because that's what's most exciting. So first things first, we're going to dive right down the body, back into the ankles and the toes. So this is one I probably show often because it is so important. Okay, yes, it's important to be able to move your ankle in both directions, but this guy is the one that usually gets left behind and we start to lose more mobility. Why? Because we're sitting again, we're walking, we're not really putting that ankle in its full range of motion. But when we start to lose this range of motion where the foot comes up toward the shin, you actually start to put more pressure up the chain. All of a sudden knee pain all the time. Why do you think that's happening? Or you get clicking, you get crepitus, you get this weird crunching underneath the kneecap. It's probably because either the hip is restricted or the ankle is restricted. So in order to take some pressure off this knee so it doesn't have to work so hard and crunch down every single time, we want to open up the ankle. So one of the greatest ways to test that is really coming up to a wall. Mine is not really a wall, but it will work for now. Okay, you want to come about 4 to 5 inches away from it. So that's pretty far. I'm going to guesstimate here. And then I'm going to see, keeping my heel down, can I bring my knee all the way over and touch it? Now the goal is you don't want to let that heel come off, and you don't want to be like way over here trying to see if your knee will touch. There's no cheating here. So keep that bum back in alignment, and then see if this knee can purely go right over and touch. Mine actually, my heel has to lift just a tiny bit in order for me to get all the way there. So I do have a little limitation in my dorsiflexion. Always check both sides, right? Doesn't mean that one side is the same as the other side. So again, 4 to 5 inches away. I'm going to keep my bum in line with my knee and then drive forward to see if I can touch. See if you guys can see this. See if I can touch right into it. This one is actually a little bit better, so I do have a little bit more ankle range of motion on this side. My heel isn't coming off than my other side, so my right side's actually a little bit more restricted. So next one that we're going to check today is our big toe mobility, because that one is so important. We have to walk, if we want to walk in a straight line, if we want to keep the foot healthy, which leads up to the ankle, which leads up to the knee, the hip, the back, everything, because it all starts from our base. We have to make sure that this big toe can actually extend to its fullest, okay? Now, we're not going to have a direct measurement for this one. It's really going to be how high can you lift your big toe if it's barely getting off the ground, or if you can't utilize it without the other toes, it's going to be a big indicator that your big toe is a little restricted, okay? So I'm going to stand. I'm going to try one foot. So keeping my other toes down as much as possible. Can you lift that big toe up off the ground, and how high can you get it? I want it to try to get as high as possible. Okay, the other side, so always check both sides. Can you get that big toe up and off? Okay, so mine's probably around 45 degrees. We want a little bit more. Ideally, we'd want 60. Ooh, that got maybe a little bit higher, maybe 50. So I'm maybe around 10 degrees off. Obviously really hard to tell on yourself, so it's okay if you can't quite tell. So for ankle mobility first, making sure that we get that one, I'm actually going to do it on here so that you can have a better idea. You can always do it on the ground, or you could do it on a bench like I'm going to. This is a little squishier than I'd like, but it's okay. So with my foot down, I'm going to try to just kind of lean over. So I like to do it sometimes on a higher surface because it's easier to kind of grab and lean over that knee. So you should feel pressure into that ankle. So it's either the front of the ankle or it's the back near the Achilles and near the calf. Okay, that's what you should be feeling, and you're just going to come back into that breathing. Low belly. About 30 breaths. or 2 minutes here, okay? So 2 minutes, and then I want you to try to find that end range of motion again and try to hold. So try to pull those toes up into your shin as much as you can. Hold 5 seconds, and then go right back into that, at least doing it 1 time every day. If the other foot is more restricted, maybe you spend a little bit more time doing it on that other foot, okay? For toe mobility, really easy. Toes underneath you and sit. That's it. 2 minutes is actually going to be really hard and really uncomfortable if you're not used to this. So if you're not used to this guy, I would suggest starting at 30 seconds. Again, coming into that breath. So low rib cage, hands can be here, hands can be wrapped around, hands can be here, okay? So low rib cage, take a deep breath in. And just slowing down that breath nice and slow, breathing from that low rib cage area, breathing from the low belly area, trying to relax in the upper chest and try to get into those toes. So it's at least 30 seconds, maybe a minute, maybe you can do 2, but every day if that big toe is restricted. How you get into that active range is just trying to lift those toes as much as you can and sitting back into it, okay? And then you can test it again, play with it, and see how it is every day. Going back into my full mobility, so maybe I start on that big toe. So maybe this is part of it as I do my breathing for my other ones. So now all of a sudden, I'm getting 2 different mobilities at the same time. Okay, then maybe I go into my other one, keeping my shoulder down. I'll do about 5 to 10 of these. It's always my right side. My right side just doesn't like me as much. From the ankle all the way up to my shoulder. See how it plays a role? Okay, then I'm going to go into my quadruped, so just keeping up. About 5 to 10 of these every day. Then I'm going to lay back. Get into their shoulders, keep the shoulder blades down, making sure I'm breathing into it, and then lifting. Coming right back, getting into my 90-90. Just going to groove into it. So if you don't have as much time, do with what you can. Okay, maybe I do both sides since I know my external rotation on both sides is not the best. Just running through it pretty quickly so that I can move on with my day. But as long as you're tapping into it, you're showing your body what's possible, it starts to open up. Going out, extending, getting that hip underneath me. And I'll end here since I know this one's a little restricted. So I hope you guys really enjoyed this. If you didn't take anything out of this, I really hope that you go back to the breathing every single day. You can do it really easily right before you go to bed at night. It's really simple to get back into your body, start to tune in and gain awareness. But I hope that you understand that this isn't just about, opening up restrictions right now, but it's about preventing pain and injuries later on. And understanding where your body is the most important key so that you can continue to move into it. Your body is capable of so much more than we usually give it credit for. And the fact that it can even move through this mobility flow is more than a lot of people can do. So take back appreciation. Your body is doing so much for you and it's moving all the time. You guys got this. Continue with this mobility flow and I'm so incredibly proud of you.